From gang beefs to some of the most dangerous killers in history, Fort Worth, Texas has a brutal reputation. In fact, some locals even call it Murder Worth. And today, we're breaking down some of the wildest stories to come out of this city. Fort Worth is known as one of the deadliest cities in America, but it actually started out as a simple army post back in 1849. That's where the name came from. When cowboys started moving in, the violence followed. People were getting stabbed and shot almost every night. The city quickly became known for prostitution, gambling, and murder, and that reputation never really went away. Crime has always been a part of Fort Worth, but things got especially bad in the 1980s. That's when people really started calling it Murder Worth. At one point, it was even the murder capital of the US. The violence exploded even more when crack cocaine took over the streets. Gang beefs in Fort Worth are some of the deadliest in the country. Gangs have been tearing the city apart since the 80s. A lot of Bloods and Crips moved in from California, but these days it's way deeper than just red versus blue. One of the biggest crews on the south side is YTN. They're made up of several smaller sets like the 4-Tray Gangster Crips, the 5 Deuce Hoovers, and the 4-4 Gangster Hardheads. These dudes were hitting their enemies so often, they started calling themselves Murder Gang YTN. YTN is allegedly responsible for a lot of bodies in Fort Worth. They also kicked off one of the craziest shootings in the city's history. It all went down on Mother's Day 2020 at Village Creek Park. Over 400 people had gathered for a party, even though there were social distancing rules in place because of the pandemic. The police came through with a sound system called a howler to break things up. But what really made the crowd scatter was when YTN got into a shootout with another crew. There are different stories about what started it, but most people say it was connected to the death of a guy named J-Dub. He was supposedly aligned with the ops and got killed, but no one knows exactly who shot him. He was found with a t-shirt wrapped around his face, a Draco next to him, and a bullet in his head on the south side of the city. Some say he tried to kill someone but got caught first. Others think one of his own guys accidentally shot him during a mission. J-Dub was allegedly part of a crew called Ape Gang, and they had serious beef with YTN. There's no solid proof that YTN killed J-Dub, but his death made things worse between the two groups. Rumors say J-Dub's brother, Quana Hussein, started sliding on YTN for revenge. So when YTN members showed up to that big party at Village Creek Park, people knew something could go down. Witnesses said YTN guys were walking around the party, mean-mugging Ape Gang members. Nothing happened at first, and YTN left, but they weren't done yet. They were coming back, and they were bringing guns. After leaving the party, the crew met up at a donut shop just half a mile away. A few minutes later, they pulled back up, and that's when all hell broke loose. Even though there were over 400 people in the crowd and cops were already on. The scene that didn't stop YTN and Ape Gang from opening fire. Reports say YTN Cash and YTN Cheese started shooting first. Ape Gang shot back and ended up hitting both of them. But YTN wasn't just beefing with Ape Gang. They also had problems with a crew called EBK, short for Everybody Killer. While EBK is a name repped in different cities, in Fort Worth, it's a wild renegade crew made up of mostly Bloods and some Crips from a neighborhood called Stop 6. Stop 6 is known for being one of the most dangerous areas in Fort Worth, and if you're not ready for war, you won't last there. The most well-known member of EBK is a rapper named EBK Dlock. He started making music to build a name in Fort Worth, but according to rumors, he was also putting in serious work in the streets. Dlock allegedly got arrested for killing a YTN member named Big Head Chris. YTN kept taking losses. 2 of their members, Lil Newbie and Wop, were both killed in a robbery that went sideways. Reports say Newbie, along with another YTN member, tried to rob an EBK affiliate named MB, but things didn't go as planned. Even though he was outnumbered, MB pulled a gun and shot all 3 of them. Then, the YTN guys fired back and hit MB, too. By the time police arrived, all 4 of them were dead. A lot of people outside Fort Worth have no idea how serious the gang war is there. But now, a new generation of drill rappers is exposing everything through their music. One of the hottest drill artists out of Fort Worth right now is CJ Casino. He used to be tight with Ape Gang. On his track We On That, he raps, "Ape Gang, we on that Gorilla Gang. We on that run in your trap. Where that dope at? Show some respect, cause you know you don't want that." But rumor has it, CJ Casino and Ape Gang fell out after a dude named Jub snatched CJ's chain. Not long after that, Jub was killed. CJ also had issues with another rapper, Go Yayo. Back in the day, they were close. Go Yayo was one of the first rappers to really put Fort Worth on the map, inspiring a lot of others from the city. But he's been involved in his fair share of beef too. Outside of Fort Worth, a lot of people first heard about Go Yayo when he started beefing with Dallas rapper Mo3. According to Mo3's friend Brian Rainwater, the tension between the two got serious and fast. Go Yayo started feeling some type of way because Mo3 was blowing up in the rap game and even got booked for a show in Fort Worth. Meanwhile, Go Yayo couldn't get any shows in his own city, and that made him heated. It's not exactly clear how everything went down, but Go Yayo and his crew, Hood Fame, pulled up to the club where Mo3 was performing. That night ended in a shootout, and sadly, an innocent person was killed. The beef between Go Yayo and Mo3 also sparked more drama. In Dallas, Go Yayo dropped a song called Six Pick, where he featured a bunch of Dallas rappers, but left Mo3 off the track. CJ Casino was on the song along with Go Yayo's homie, Lil Ronnie. Nobody expected things to get so wild, or for Houston rapper Sauce Walka to get pulled into the mess too. Even though Sauce Walka is from Houston, he had ties in Fort Worth and had signed CJ Casino to his label. Then in 2021, Go Yayo dissed both Sauce Walka and CJ Casino in a track called No Quiz. On the song, he raps, "Stop comparing me to CJ, he A, and I'm a savage, all that white gold in your jewelry, that's that cheap, colors in your diamonds, well that you look like some sweet, crazy boy just talking, he ain't really on no beef. I used to with Sauce, but he always on some weak." After that, Sauce Walka clapped back and dissed Go Yayo's homie, Bran. At the same time, Go Yayo was already beefing with members of Scoot Up Gang and Gas Gang. These crews were also allegedly connected to Sauce Walka's TSF, the Sauce Factory. Rumors say some of these guys slid on Go Yayo while he was in Houston. He made it out alive, but his close friend Bran was killed right in front of him. At first, Sauce Walka's beef with Go Yayo didn't seem too deep, but then in 2025, things escalated big time. Sauce Walka was almost killed in Memphis during a shooting. He was with his homie Sayso P when some shooters pulled up and started blasting. Sauce Walka got shot in the leg and had to be rushed to the hospital. Sadly, Sayso P was killed on the spot. When the news broke, some thought it was just a robbery gone wrong, but after video footage came out, it was clear this was a planned hit. Someone wanted one of them dead. Sauce Walka later said that the shooters could have killed him if they really wanted to, but they let him live.
Fucked up as the situation is, and I could have lost my life, and my life was put in danger. It wasn't intentionally for me. And motherfucker could have took my life when they did.
ISO P was from Memphis, and rumors say he was killed because he took $200,000 from some guys out there. But now, all kinds of stories are spreading, especially since one of the shooters ended up dead in Sauce Walka's hometown, Houston. Sauce Walka had originally said he wasn't going to slide for Sayso P, but after the shooter got killed in Houston, Sauce posted a photo in front of the hospital, flexing a bunch of cash. That got people talking. Some think someone in Texas put money on Sauce Walka's head and that the Memphis shooters were trying to collect that bounty. And now, Go Yayo's name is being dragged into the mix, even though there's no actual proof that he had anything to do with it. As for the shooter who was killed, no one's sure if he was even from Houston. There's a good chance he was from Memphis and just ran to Texas after Sayso P got killed. Sauce also said he never wanted beef with Go Yayo in the first place. He actually wanted to bring the whole Texas rap scene together.
Disappointed at what Texas could have became if all my little brothers because my real goal was to bring all of Fort Worth together. The CJs, the Bugattis, the Yayos, they all together. They was like a little TSF to me. They had potential to be what we is or be another version, be greater, fuck it, whatever. I'm happy for them. I wanted to see it happen.
In 2023, Go Yayo's homie, Murder Gang PB, dropped a song called Houston We Have a Problem. In the track, he says, "Houston, we got a problem. Rewind the tape, let's set the record straight, Yayo and Sauce Walka. I remember it like it was. Yesterday, South by Southwest, reppin' Texas, thought we were gonna blow up. Then Say Cheese made a list, and it felt like we all split up. I'm not blaming Sean Cotton, but Texas could have been big if TSF, Hood Fame, and Murder Gang were still rocking together." Even though Go Yayo had nothing to do with Sauce Walka's situation, tragedy hit his own circle recently in a brutal way. On March 3rd, 2025, Go Yayo's homie, Lil Ronnie, was at a car wash on Forest Hill Drive in Fort Worth with his daughter. It was 10:50 in the morning, and he was just trying to clean his car, but he didn't realize two shooters had followed him there. They got out of their car and started firing. Lil Ronnie tried to run away on foot. There was a fence blocking his path. He couldn't climb it in time, and the shooters chased him down and shot him dead at the scene. Police arrested the suspects soon after the shooting, but it's still unclear why they targeted Lil Ronnie. Some people online think CJ Casino may have had something to do with it. A video even went viral where CJ was allegedly talking about killing his ops and their whole family if they got in the way.
Mama gonna die, your sister gonna die, your little brother in the room trying to TikTok, he gonna die. That's if a plan, because a lot of niggas go out here, go to plan and hide and doing all that. On blood, go to plan and hide and doing all that extra shit. When your mama and your family and shit still in the hood, that ain't gonna go, my nigga. We gonna lay everybody down. Everybody got it down, don't give a damn what you talking about. We shooting up houses, we don't give a damn who the fuck in that bitch get hit. We don't give a damn. Everybody get hit. Your granny on the dialysis machine, whatever the fuck. Everybody gotta die, man. That's just how she go in the streets.
Forest Hills is one of the wildest areas in Fort Worth. Just a month before Lil Ronnie was killed, a man named Fail Arguin was arrested for killing two of his old co-workers at a car dealership. Then, just a few days after that, an innocent woman was standing by a fire pit in her backyard when someone started shooting on the street. A stray bullet hit and killed her. Police managed to arrest the people who allegedly killed Lil Ronnie and his daughter, but sadly, most murder victims in Fort Worth never get justice. The city has thousands of unsolved murder cases, and locals say police don't even try to solve them. One man named Scotty Choice said his mother was murdered in an abandoned apartment building. He claimed that when you call the police, they won't answer or even call you back. Fort Worth has dealt with gang violence for decades, but the city is also known for having some of the most brutal serial killers in America. One of them was Jason Thornburg. He was born in California but moved to Fort Worth and left the whole city in fear. In 2021, Jason murdered 3 people in just 1 week and chopped their bodies into pieces. But the most disturbing part? The first person he killed was his roommate, David Lara. They were staying in a motel, and Jason slit David's throat, chopped up his body, and even ate part of his heart. A few days later, he killed a woman named Lauren Phillips the same way, by slitting her throat. Then, 2 days after that, he stabbed another woman, Maruz Mathesy, to death. Jason admitted he was eating parts of their bodies, and he threw the rest in a dumpster. To hide the evidence, he set the dumpster on fire, but that's what led to his arrest. Someone reported the fire, and when police showed up, they found the bodies inside. A few days later, Jason was arrested, and things got even crazier. He confessed to killing 2 more people. One was his girlfriend, Tanya Beatty, back in 2017. The other was another roommate, Mark Schuell, in 2021. At first, cops thought Mark died in a fire, but Jason had actually slit his throat before burning down the house. Jason told police he was killing people as a human sacrifice to God. He said he wanted to become a missionary and believed he had a destiny to fulfill. Fort Worth was terrified, but Jason was finally sentenced to death. What's crazy is, Fort Worth isn't even a huge city, but somehow, it's had some of the most brutal killers in the country. Back in 1985, another serial killer named Ricky Green was running loose in the city. He started by killing a man named Jeffrey Davis and left his body in a swamp. A few months later, he picked up a woman named Betty Jo Monroe, a stripper who may have also been a prostitute, and brought her to his house. Then he stabbed her 17 times and beat her brutally. Ricky Green kept going on a killing spree. Just 1 month after he murdered Betty Jo Monroe, he met a woman named Sandra Bailey at a nightclub. He brought her back to his place and killed her the same way, with a knife and a hammer. After that, it seemed like Ricky Green took a break from killing. But about a year later, he kidnapped one of his own friends and stabbed him to death. Police might have never caught Ricky Green, but in the end, his own wife turned him in. Ricky was married to a woman named Sharon Dollar, and she actually helped him commit some of the murders. They eventually got divorced, and after that, Sharon went to the cops and told them everything. She claimed Ricky forced her to help, so she only got 10 years of probation. But Ricky Green was sentenced to death and was executed in 1997. A lot of people think he killed more victims than he ever admitted. The next killer was even worse. Kenneth Granville grew up in Fort Worth. As a teenager, he spent 2.5 years in juvenile detention for assaulting his own brother. When he got out, he found a job, joined the army, and was well known in the neighborhood. But he clearly still had problems. He kept getting into fights and was eventually kicked out of the army for attacking other soldiers. Kenneth was dating a woman named Ever Gold. On October 8, 1974, he went to her house and murdered 2 of her sisters and 1 of her cousins. At the time, police didn't think Kenneth was involved. He even went around telling people that whoever did it should be hanged. But just a few months later, Kenneth showed his true colors. He invited a friend named Betty Williams over to his house and suddenly attacked her. In the middle of the attack, another friend, Vera Hill, knocked on his door to ask a question about income taxes. Kenneth panicked. He opened the door holding a knife and stabbed Vera in the chest. She fell down and he kept stabbing her. Then he went back and stabbed Betty Williams too, leaving her barely alive. But he wasn't done yet. Kenneth drove to another friend's house and asked to use the phone. Once inside, he attacked his friend's mom, then kidnapped another woman and took her back to his house. When he got home, Betty Williams was still alive, trying to stop the bleeding. Kenneth told her to stop trying, and a few minutes later, she died. Then something unexpected happened. Kenneth got into his car with the hostage and drove to a local church. He picked up the pastor while still holding the hostage and said he didn't want to hurt anyone else. He just wanted to be taken off the streets. Kenneth drove to the police station, pulled out a gun and a knife, and confessed to 7 murders right there on the spot. He was later convicted and sentenced to death. 20 years later, he was executed by lethal injection. Fort Worth has seen so much violence, and it's only gotten worse. In 2022, the city hit a 27-year high for murders. After the crack epidemic slowed down in the 80s and 90s, things got better for a little while. But now, Fort Worth is one of the most dangerous cities in the country. It's no surprise people call it Murder Worth.